Lucille Ball's loyal sidekick, her own story of tough times on the set.
All the rest of the scene, I was kind of like this. I keep saying, I said, I'm fine, I'm fine.
The real Vivian Vance, as one of TV's most loved characters, reveals if she really loved Lucy.
In real life, that wasn't always the case. Now we have the lost interview with Vivian about their relationship and a rare look into the personal life of one of TV's most famous sidekicks.
If we're anything, Lucille and I, we're perfectionists. They used to say, when you go home around here, we say we go home when it's right, which is true.
When Vivian shared memories of the years she spent working opposite Lucy on the Mike Douglas show in 1970, it was clear that the two actresses shared a strong bond. But according to the authors of The Other Side of Ethel Metz, the life story of Vivian Vance, it was a union that almost never happened. When Desi Arnaz hired the actress without consulting his wife first, it was the beginning of a lifelong love-hate relationship the two would share.
Vivian was a showgirl. I mean, she had played the vamp in the femme fatale. And when she came in for the first reading, she was a little glamour girl.
She didn't look a thing like an Ethel Metz in furry slippers and curlers in her hair. And that Lucy fought to get her off the show with Desi Arnaz. She really wanted someone else to play the role. Lucille Ball was from the old school. You never have prettier people on the set. You know, she was the star of the show.
Lucy was ultimately won over when she saw that Vivian was a dedicated and hardworking actress who had great comedic timing. She had come a long way from her days growing up in New Mexico, where all she cared about was performing.
I was always constantly going to private elocution. We called them elocution teachers in those days. And I flunked everything because I was in all the plays. And I just did pluses and minuses, and my dear blessed professor let me graduate because I didn't have very much sense. I knew how to learn lines, but I didn't know any geography or where Africa was, believe me.
As Ethel, her dowdy housecoats and little makeup didn't stop Vivian from winning the first Emmy for Best Supporting Actress in 1954 when the category was created. Over the years, she was even able to subtly improve Ethel's look.
As time went by, Ethel Metz started wearing eyelashes, and her hairdos started becoming a bit more glamorous, and she got away from wearing the same costumes, the costume that Vivian Vance hated wearing. They were called swirls, which would tie in the back. And step by step, little by little, Vivian did change Ethel Metz.
Although she and Lucy often battled behind the scenes, they usually made up. Vance adored Desi Arnaz, but never tried to hide the fact she detested her TV husband, William Frawley.
There was a huge gap in their ages, and Vivian couldn't see being married to, as she put it, an old coot. If you watch carefully in the shows, you never see Vivian kissing her husband on the show.
Her work ethic, however, was never questioned, and she loved taking part in all the sight gags the scripts often called for.
I took a pie in the face once, and they had to take the sound out of the soundtrack. This man was hired to throw a pie in my face on the show, and it kept drawing back at rehearsals. You know, we don't just get this pie in the face once. We've done everything 75 times before you see it till it's right. So I went to the man. I thought he was a little frightened to throw the pie at me, and I said, Charlie, or whatever his name was, you're not doing that right. It's not hitting me right. I don't think it's very funny. When they say action and it's time, I want you to throw that pie so that it goes home. Well, he threw the pie, but he didn't take his hand out of it. And it went crack, and I went, all the rest of the scene, I was kind of like this. I kept saying, I said, I'm fine, I'm fine.
When I Love Lucy ended, Ball insisted that Vivian co-star with her on the new series, The Lucy Show. She did, but the feud resumed when Vivian sought financial parity with Lucy. Ball, the producer, denied the request, so Vivian walked. But in the end, their friendship survived. As her career following Lucy waned, Vivian would eventually find happiness in her personal life. It came in the person of her fourth husband, John Dodds, who in actuality was gay. Still, they were married for 18 years.
Her last husband was actually gay, and but surprisingly enough, it was the happiest marriage she ever had, and the two of them were totally devoted to one another.
And faithful.
And faithful. And Vivian went into the marriage knowing full well of his history and was fine with it.
Vivian died in 1979 after a lengthy battle with cancer. Lucy had paid her a visit shortly before she passed, and the two shared their love and respect for one another. Her life had been changed forever because of her years with the redhead, and she took great pride in having made it, especially given her humble beginnings.
One of the reasons that I was able to do all of those crazy things on the Lucy shows, because I've done everything. I didn't have very much money, and you know, kids when they don't have much money, they do everything. I was a lifeguard, and I worked in a soda fountain. There isn't anything I haven't done, Mike. Oh, I've done everything, and it came in handy on the Lucy show. I made a lot of money by not having any money when I was
It was reportedly written into Vivian's I Love Lucy contract that her weight remained more than 20 pounds heavier than Lucy. We'll be right back.